What's going on, Niner fam? It is Peter Lucas. This is the Niner Fanatic Podcast, and it's a solemn day. It's a solemn day, and pardon me if I'm laughing. It's just comical. The whole thing is comical, and we're gonna get into all of it. It's the 49ers go down to the Arizona Cardinals 24-23 in embarrassing fashion. A lot to talk about. I mean, there's no one thing you can blame in this one, but we're gonna get to all of it. But before we get into any of it, make sure you hit the video. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure that you hit the bell so you get the notifications for when we go live. And let's just get to the music.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'd like to know,
are you ready for start time?
And once again, it is Peter Lucas. This is the Niner Fanatic Podcast. And yeah, so 49ers go down 24-23 to the Arizona Cardinals. One of the worst defenses in the league. They were supposed to have a really good offense. I didn't get that idea in this game. 49ers should have had this game. Defense was playing really well in the first half. And before I go into any detail, this is not one of those games where you can sit there and say, oh, offense lost. Oh, defense lost the game. Oh, special teams lost the game. Oh, it was bad play calling. Every little facet of the 49ers and who they are as a team played into this loss. And it's frustrating because you see all the talent on the team. And yes, the 49ers have a lot of injuries going on right now, but that's no excuse. It's no excuse. They still have more talent on their team that they're putting out there on game day than most teams have. They had more talent out there today than the Arizona Cardinals did, for sure. And so there is no excuses. And I know we're gonna hear from Kyle later. Not that I'll be honest with you. I really don't want to hear his voice right now, especially if he comes out with that condescending, you guys don't know ball attitude. Like, Kyle, he can make all the excuses in the world. And I'm not going to put words in his mouth because I haven't even watched it yet. But there is no excuse for this loss. There wasn't an excuse really for the Rams loss. This one was worse, if that was possible. And it was, how do we put this? It was such. Let's start with the offense. Let's start piece by piece. So, offense, first off, you've got a quarterback, really good quarterback that knows how to run this offense. There's a disconnect. Purdy has had to pull too much out of his behind on a weekly basis for me to put it completely on Purdy. And granted, Purdy made some bad decisions in this game. No doubt. And I can point to a couple of things, but there's not even a point. I'm just going to say the missed throw, the missed touchdown to throw to Jennings, the missed throw to Kittle, there was the first interception. He got it was bad pass. Second one, bad pass, but at the same time, he didn't see the free rusher. There's a lot. And then there was times where he was running around and he should have just thrown the ball. He's not taking his checkdowns. He's strictly looking downfield. And which most of the time we would say, hey, I'm all about it. Like, let's throw the ball downfield, but you cannot have tunnel vision. So Purdy not being on his top game, that's one. Then we've got Jordan Mason fumbling the ball in a completely inopportune time. But for the most part, Jordan Mason was saving you in a few of those drives because your offensive line can't block. They can't block. There was I counted maybe 3 or 4 runs where the offensive line actually the way that they was schemed to block it up actually blocked it up. Other times, Mason is running around holes and cutting back because the hole is supposed to be there. There's no hole, so now he's trying to make something out of nothing. It happens. It's been happening all season long. So, offensive line, not blocking, not making up any holes for Mason to run through. Garendo got involved today, and he made another guy making something out of nothing. It was a little rough for him in the beginning, but I didn't think he did a bad job. It comes back to the passing game, and then we got to talk about the play calling. There is no consistency in the play calling. There is no momentum in the play calling. You cannot go with all the weapons on this team. You cannot go an entire half without scoring. That is unacceptable. People are going to say, oh, well, the kicker went down. That's not an excuse. You have all these weapons. You're going up against the second worst defense in the league statistically, but they were bad. I cannot wait to watch I can, but when I watch this all 22, I'm 100% guaranteeing that there were open guys all over the place. Not just that they were all over the place, but there was quite a bit of stop plays. I'm trying to think of the name of it. A lot of stick and a lot of just guys running to spots. And it was easily defended. There was a lot of, and I've noticed that the last 3-4 weeks. Guys, we might have come to a point where Kyle's scheme is just, it's not enough. And we've been talking about this for going on over a year, at least a year. But we talked about it was strictly in the postseason, in the beginning. It was just in the postseason when they go up against better defenses. Better defenses were noticing that there is a ceiling on this offense because it only goes as the scheme. It has to be run exactly the way the scheme dictates. There is no, I can make this out of this. There is nothing. There is none of that. There's no adjustments. There's no moving guys over to get better matchups. There's none of that. The call is the call. And he can move to another call, but that's just another call where there is no moving anybody around to get a better. There is no attacking matchups in this offense. None. And in years past, it's been fine because the league had not caught up to that. The league has caught up to it. We're at a point now where the league has caught up to it. And this is not me saying that I know more than Kyle. This is not me saying that Kyle doesn't know ball. This isn't me saying that this offense is terrible. That is not what I'm saying. And it might sound like that's what I'm saying, but the reality of the situation is they figured out the scheme. It's going to be up to Kyle now to fix the scheme. And when I say fix the scheme, honestly, he just needs to add in some plays where they need to get some plays installed where they can just run some basic stuff where Purdy can move guys around and get guys open and take advantage of matchups. Kyle's got to get off his high horse. He's got to stop talking about execution, and he's got to just talk about it in the manner
of exactly what it is. It's on tape now. There are guys out there that are open, but these plays are taking way too long to develop. Way too long to develop. And not only that, it's teams are disguised. They know what part of the field you want to go to. So they're just covering those parts of the field up and then covering where you want. And once you start, Kyle is very predictable when it comes down to, okay, you take this away, I'm going to do this. So they just start taking that away. And Kyle cannot adjust. We've seen it over and over and over again. If he takes a play, if they take a player away, he can't adjust. If they take Debo away, Debo was also a non-factor for most of this game. Ayuk had a game, but they couldn't. There was, once again, not much yak. I mean, there was a couple of plays where they got some yak, but there was no house calls. No house calls, and I feel like that is what Kyle's offense has depended upon the last few years. We got players, and we've got these good players that have been getting the ball in space. They're used to getting the ball in space, and then they run over guys. They're going to get They're going to get at least a few, break a couple of tackles, get a few extra yards. That's not happening. Teams are being physical with them and saying, if you're gonna have to dink and dunk all the way down the field. And the 49ers answer for that was this year they're going to try and go for longer passes. That's their answer. And when that's not there, they don't have an answer. They don't have an answer. We saw it today. We kind of saw it last week. They just happened to hit on a few of them because they were going against the worst team in the league. Like, and I said it on my show on Thursday. Don't be fooled by going up against the Patriots and barely, not even dominating. You can't even call it. They just went out and got a win. But I said that then. I said, I'm still worried. I'm still worried for this team because of what I saw. There was still execution issues. There was still guys they just weren't dominating their matchups. And it's almost like it's all about the scheme, and there's no just, I'm going to beat the man in front of me. Our offensive line can't get 2 yards. They cannot get 2 yards when they need it. They're not getting any push off the line. On run plays, they're getting pushed back. And it's not blitzes. It's not blitzes, not because of blitzes. It's not because the team is playing up. It's because our offensive line is just not good at run blocking. We've gone more to a team that is better at pass blocking than run blocking. And it's really weird because at the beginning when Kyle was here, it was all about run blocking. Now we don't care about that. We don't care about that either. Pooney is not the greatest at run blocking. Brendel is getting dominated at the center spot. And I don't care what his score is, his PFF score. Don't talk to me about PFF score right now. Like, I'm watching him get dominated and thrown out of the way. Like, Aaron Banks is not having a good year either. Trent Williams is not all-world Trent right now. He's just not dominating like he normally does. And then McKivitz is McKivitz. McKivitz actually didn't even played half bad today. From what I saw, it was just they had the book on what we were trying to do. That's really what it looked like. It looked like they had the 49ers number. It was atrocious all the way around on the offense. Want to say what's up to my guy, Captain. Appreciate you coming through, fam. This team has no marbles. It's top heavy, and everyone is fat after getting paid. I'm going to watch the all 22 with the bottle. Like, so this is the thing. I'm not going to blame just the players. The players and the play on the field is a reflection of the coaching. This is the scheme. I'm telling you, this is the scheme. And people are going to sit there and make excuses for Kyle. That's fine. I love Kyle to death. I want Kyle to succeed. but he's not willing to change. He's not. We've seen it. He's still running this with little variations. He's still running the same stuff. He's still running the same stuff. And if you're waiting for Christian McCaffrey to come back and save us for these red zone issues, you're going to be waiting. That's not going to make the offensive line block better. I mean, maybe that'll make Purdy actually throw it to the running backs because God knows Mason has been open in the flats over and over again. Like the running backs are open. Like he's just not taking the throw, the underneath throw. And I don't know what that's about. I don't know if the game plan was that we need to attack the over the top. I don't know what the game plan was. But they're not taking those underneath throws. And it's almost like at the beginning of the season when they were doing all the underneath throws and teams had finally caught up to that, that we said, okay, well, now we're just going to change up the whole thing and plan to go over the top. And now teams have done that, and we can't adjust. We can't adjust. So, like I said, we're in trouble. 49ers are in trouble. It's not, y'all might think this is a rant. This is not a rant. This is the truth. And mark my words. Like I don't like to be the person that says I told you so. We've been talking about this for a year and a half now. All the stuff that I'm talking about right now is stuff that that we talked about for over a year and a half ago. Is that in the playoffs, this team has got to get to a point to where they can adjust. If Purdy is going to be that guy, let him be that guy. Call some simple stuff that doesn't involve 2 and 3 motions and let him move guys where he needs them to get the favorable matchup. But let him dictate the offense. At a certain point, you got to let go, Kyle. Because the play calling right now today's play calling was terrible. And I'm telling you, people are going to make excuses and they're going to show video of, oh, look, he was wide open. They're going to do the same thing to Purdy that they did to Jimmy G. I can 100% guarantee that that's what's going to happen. But look, the offense has no continuity. They almost went away from the earlier in the season. They completely went away from play action, and Kyle made the excuse, "Oh well, the look wasn't there." You can't excuse this away. You can't excuse this away. Football is not all about scheme. Football is not all about scheme. Football is about the confidence of your players, continuity, momentum is a thing. You've got to show faith in your guys. Sometimes you've got to show faith in your guys that they are better than the other guys on the other side of the field. Let them go out there and prove that they are. Kyle does not do that. To Kyle, these guys are all chess pieces to move around his scheme. That is not football. And that's why when they go up against more physical teams and when they go up a team like what happened today against the Arizona Cardinals team that came in with the thought process they were going to hit the 49ers in the mouth. They kept hitting them in the mouth, and eventually they just stopped responding. This defense was actually playing really well up until the second half, until they decided to just bludgeon the 49ers with James Conner. And we talked about that on Thursday too. James Conner has always done really well against the 49ers. Well, at a certain point, guess what? Offense wasn't getting offense couldn't get any points. They couldn't do anything. Then people are going to say, "Oh, well, the kicker." Once again, the offense could not score points, and they left this defense out to dry. And left that defense out on the field, even though the 49ers, I'm sure I'm going to look back at this at this time of possession and find out that the 49ers were probably killed him in time of possession. And what do you know? They won by like what? 6 minutes. They had 6 more minutes in time of possession. So they killed him in time of possession. But no points to show for it. And then the other team, Arizona, just started running it down their throat. Just bludgeon after bludgeon. Right up the middle. Not even creative. Nothing creative. Nothing creative. They just did exactly what I'm talking about. It's a mental thing. When they found out that you can't stop it, guess what's going to happen? If they're going to keep hitting you in the mouth with it until you stop it. That's the way football goes. And it's okay to be a mad scientist in Kyle and have this great scheme. But at the base of it all, you can't let it get away from football. Football is about imposing your will on the other team. At the base of it, my players are better than your players. And even with all the bells and whistles nowadays, all of the switching from a run game to a passing league, all of that, it doesn't go away from being the basics of football is how many times can I hit you in the mouth before you fold? And sometimes you need to hit him in the stomach and hit him with a gut punch to take the wind out of him. And we were never able to hit him with a gut punch at any point. There was never anything that the 49ers did that just took away any of that momentum. Momentum is so real in football and in sports in general, but it was sad. It was sad watching the 49ers today because I talked about last season how they had gotten away from their identity. This team no longer has an identity. There is no identity. And it's been since last season. This team has no identity. They don't know if they're a running team. They don't know if they're a passing team. They want to be balanced, but they don't know when to call what. And and it just looks inconsistent. They're dependent upon big plays. And if they don't get those big plays, then it is what it is. There's going to be some kind of penalty because we got to do all the razzle dazzle. And it's going to look bad. It's going to look bad. So that's the offense. I'm off my rant for the offense. But Kyle, got to figure it out, bro. Got to figure it out. And you better figure it out quick because we've got another game on Thursday against another team that's really not that good either in the Seahawks. But 49ers got to figure it out. So let's move on to special teams a little bit before I get to the defense. And I talked about the defense already a little bit, but special teams had to score a touchdown for us today. In the beginning of the game, it didn't look like it looked like it was going to be another terrible special teams day. And then we got the block and a run back for a touchdown, which, I mean, it would have been a blowout by the Arizona if it wasn't for that. Like, I mean, we would have had no momentum if it wasn't for that. So now, like you've got a specialty, and then you lose your kicker because once again you're out of position on the return, and the kicker is the last line of defense and tries to come up and make a play. And now you've lost him for who knows how long. From what I'm understanding, it's a high ankle sprain on his kicking foot. So we're probably not going to see Moody for a while. And, like, is that a good thing, bad thing? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. They might find their kicker, their future on somebody they just bring off the street because that's how kickers work. I don't know if anybody pays attention to kickers in the NFL, but they're streaky, and sometimes you just find a gem. So, but you don't usually get them in the third round for sure. But we're not going to harp on that. So special teams still a disaster. Even though they were the only thing that could get the 49ers some momentum today. Defense. This Arizona offense really wasn't that good. Really was not that good. There was constant missed tackles. Again, the missed tackles were and they were egregious missed tackles. They had people locked up in the backfield. I can't count how many times, and we just couldn't get the guys on the ground. And that comes down to toughness. We're not physical. This team is no longer physical. Yeah, we had the big hit by D Winters. Like, yeah, there's been a couple of big hits, but this 49er team is not bullying anyone anymore. That is gone. Nobody's allowed to call anybody's bullies anymore. That's a wrap. So sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit from all the screaming during the game at the TV. It was thoroughly frustrating. That was one of those games where you could just see, you could see it, you could see the momentum shift, and I tweeted out at the start of the fourth quarter. Oh, here we go. We're up 10 points going into the fourth quarter. Can the 49ers hold them? Because it wasn't about winning the game. It was about them holding them. Can they keep them from beating them? Because the momentum had completely gone away from the 49ers at that point. And the wheels were falling off. And it just got worse in the fourth quarter. It just got worse. Kept getting worse. Then all of a sudden, like I just talked about earlier, the Connor just started, honestly, for lack of a better term, just bitch slapping us around, like our defensive line around, running through, just getting through those gaps. And our guys just couldn't tackle. And then they would make one play. The play that Yadim allowed, the fourth down play, that one was, you had to know it was over at that point. Because the 49ers still had a chance up until that point right there. And then Charvarius Ward, I don't know what happened to Charvarius Ward. He is just not good. He's not good. Demo, honestly, they need to stop moving Demo around. They need to start putting Demo on the other team's best wide receiver all the time. And Demo just needs to follow that guy. I'm over Charvarius Ward. He needs to be playing the Yadim spot, and then they can figure out the slot. Like, honestly, because Charvarius Ward is just, and I don't know if it's an injury issue. I don't know what the deal is with Mooney, but he's not looking right this year. And this is a contract year for him. Like, usually contract years, these guys ball out. And that is not the case. The only one balling out for that new contract is Demo on defense. Because I still think Purdy is playing really well. I think that he didn't play really well in this game. That goes without saying. But Kyle is not helping him out at all. At all. And I think that Brock Purdy can handle more than Kyle is giving him. There is a ceiling. There is a ceiling on this offense that he cannot, that he can't overwhelm if he's not allowed to move guys around and make and deviate from the game plan and get these guys in some favorable matchups. You're going to continue to fall into the same issues. And these 6 and 7 drops, like we're the fastest show on turf. Like this is a Mike Martz offense. These big long dropbacks are just terrible. They're terrible. Shotgun, you're in shotgun, 2 yard from the goal line, You're in shotgun because your offensive line cannot get you 2 yards. Cannot get you 2 yards. That is unacceptable. That tells you right there, you are a finesse team. This 49ers team is a finesse team, and they until proven otherwise, like they're not going to. All it takes is a physical team to come in here, and literally any team to come in here and just be physical with them, and it completely knocks them off of their game plan. So, yep, that is where the 49ers are at. I can't wait to watch the game over and watch the all 22 and see exactly how bad it was, because I have a feeling it was really bad. And I have a feeling that we're going to hear more about how bad it was going into this week. But, woo! Yeah. Yeah. It is. This is going to be a long week. It's not going to be a long week because we got another game on Thursday. So, if the 49ers lose that game, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult sledding for them to make the playoffs. And, I mean, it's going to be very difficult. Because not only are they going to be in a hole, will they be 2-4 at that point, but they would be, I mean, if that some for whatever reason they make it into the playoffs, they're not going to have a home game. They're not going to have a home game at all. It's going to be tough sledding all the way through the playoffs if they get there. And not like they can forget about winning the division. I just feel like they've already lost 2 division games. They need to focus on getting back to basics. I think they need to go back and to watch some old 49er tapes and realize what made this team good in the first place, which is you got to be physical. It has become all about the players, all about the scheme, and it has not, and we have gotten away from what made this team great. We saw it last season. And we made excuses for them. They pulled it out getting into the Super Bowl, and they made it to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to get on them about that part, but at the same time, these were things that were obvious going into this season. These were things that we were all, many people, not just me, not just a couple. There was a lot of people talking about what we were going to see going into this season, and could they change this couple of things, and the scheme was part of it. What changes were we going to see with this scheme? Now, granted, nobody planned on CMC. Not we didn't plan on the injuries, but at the same time, but Jordan Mason is playing above and beyond what anybody thought. So that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse either. So yeah, it is what it is. But I'm gonna play Kyle's. We're gonna hear from Kyle, and I'm not sure I want to hear what he has to say, but but we're gonna play it anyway. So let's see.
All right, guys, injuries from the game. Huff had a wrist, never returned. Jake Moody, ankle, never returned. Jair Brown had an ankle, he did return.
Any indication early on how bad Moody's ankle?
It was a high ankle, so, yeah.
There's no fracture.
They just told me high ankle.
Without him, obviously it impacted, I think, how you guys were approaching the game. How did you see it, and how did the fourth quarter unfold there?
Yeah, it impacted it, but the biggest thing was those turnovers. The pick to start the series. To start the second half, and then having that fumble down there inside the 10. Don't know how it would have impacted it later, because I believe that was first down.
you have any further information on Hufanga and how long he'll be out or what the severity is?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
Could you tell what happened? Tire? Did you sense that at the end there?
No, I didn't. I mean, I sensed their guys getting tired. I sensed our guys getting tired. It was a long game. Everyone battled. I thought we were wearing them down as we were going down there to run on the 1st and goal. And then I thought we had a great chance. I thought we did real good on D, stopping them, getting them into that 4th and down. We had an all-out blitz. I thought it was really good defense, but an unbelievable play by their quarterback. He had no one blocked there and just backpedaled and retreated and threw it up and found the right guy that kept him on the field. And then we got a little sloppy with tackling towards the end there, but held him to a field goal and would have loved the chance to go on that drive, but ended up getting another tip there and another turnover.
Could you tell what happened on the blitz pickup, on the interception to end the game?
Yeah, they just brought more than we had to block.
What did you see from Brock today?
And what
What was your assessment of how he performed today?
Like everybody on offense, I mean, we did some good things. I mean, I think we only punted on the first drive, so I thought we moved the ball well, but we obviously made too many mistakes, didn't get in the red zone, score enough, and the turnovers hurt us, both 2 tips, but the guy responsible for the ball.
What's Wishnowski's range? How far do you have to get in order to give him a chance in this game?
We were trying to get to the 15. Yeah, make it like extra point.
How much of a factor was the heat, if at all, in running the ball in the first half? Was that something you were trying to avoid because of the heat, or was that not a factor?
No. Running and pass, I mean, not run the ball because of heat. No, there's just a lot of stuff they were doing, and thought our advantage was throwing. Usually it balances out. Didn't get a chance to do that, though, totally.
This is the second game where you've had a 10-point lead and lost it to both division rivals. What's the frustration levels in that room? What's your frustration level of not being able to finish out these games?
Extremely frustrated. I think we had 13 points and 17 in the other. By no means should we be able to give that away. Always will come back to turnovers, in my opinion. There's other things you can do to overcome them. Talked about last night how we thought a key in this game would be turnovers, and that's exactly what the first half was. Gave us a huge advantage, and then it flipped in the second half, and when you do that, it's tough to win.
What do you tell Moody how to balance the need to make a tackle versus protecting himself? How do you sort of balance it?
Same as everybody. I mean, you try to tackle. I mean, you don't tell guys to keep their ankle out of it. I mean, you hope that it doesn't come to him and he doesn't have to make a tackle, but you also don't tell guys to turn it down and just let them score. So it's part of football.
How did the Heat, do you feel like the defense kind of wilted? I mean, Connor's a very powerful player. Do you feel like the Heat had been being late in the game and his power?
It's not to be
The
interesting.
defense was kind of gassed in some ways.
Yeah, I think both ways. I think they had 234 yards rushing last time in their dome, so I'm not chalking anything up to Heat. I think it evened out. I think it makes that both sides have to deal with the same stuff. You could feel it on long drives. That we could feel it as we got the run game going too. But James Conner does that a lot. And that's why he's a challenge, and gave him too many ops.
You got a really quick game now coming up on Thursday. How do you not let this linger an extra day or two? I mean, have you started that process already?
Yeah, that's all we talked about in there. I mean, we'd love to sit here and get pissed, and we'd love to be able to do something about that, what just happened, but you can't. You can't do anything about these games once they end. I tell the guys the next time we'll be able to do something is Thursday, and it's better to only have to wait till Thursday than have to wait till next Sunday. So we'll come fast, but always when you have a Thursday night game, we always say the biggest thing is rest and recovery. So I hope they're getting out of that locker room close to when I get back. Hope they're home as fast as they can, get as much sleep as possible, stay off their legs tomorrow, just hydrate, rest, and come in Tuesday. We'll have a plan for them on Tuesday, and we'll get it all in on Tuesday and head out on Wednesday.
Coach, outside of when everything went downhill, you had a pretty strong game today. What did you see from him?
He did a real good job. Did a good job being man coverage, made some good plays in the zone, had some good run after the catch. He had a good day.
He's been sure-handed throughout his career for the most part when it comes to holding on to the ball. Did that also surprise you just in that point of the game where?
Yeah, I'm never thinking that we're going to fumble. But we had one last week that we were able to recover, and we got one this week. He didn't have any look on the run. There wasn't nothing there, but when you're fighting for extra yards, you got to be smart with that ball, and looked like he just got a little careless with it, and they knocked it out.
Besides not having one of the best red zone players in the league, how would you assess
the red zone issues you've had a couple this year?
Same thing I said all last week. Not very good. I mean, we were middle of the pack before today started, and we got a lot worse today.
How rushed is the process on kickers? I mean, if Jake can't go Thursday, it's obviously a quick turnaround. You guys get candidates in here tomorrow morning? Or?
Yeah, they'll work on that stuff right away. With kickers, it's, you know, they're almost independent contractors, so we'll get them in as fast as possible and get the best guy we can, and I'm sure it'll have to be for a few weeks, you know, whatever. I'm not sure, but I know they told me a high ankle, and that's never soon.
On a short week, do you guys actually practice, or will it be more of like a walkthrough?
No, yeah, nothing will be full speed. Everything's walkthrough.
You guys good?
All right, guys.
All right. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought there was going to be a lot of snarky comments, and but I can't argue with what Kyle had to say. Like honestly, like Jordan Mason has to, and it could have been the questions that were being asked. There wasn't really anybody really going after Kyle on that and asking him if it was the game plan. Was there anything wrong with the game plan or anything like that? So, but he told the truth as far as like you can't sit there, you can't fumble the ball, you can't give the ball away and think that you're going to win games. Connor, we said it earlier. He always gives the 49ers problems. And even when the he even gives I mean, it doesn't matter if they're on a bad team or not. Like, it doesn't matter if they have a good offensive line or not. That for the most part, this defensive line was actually doing a pretty decent job. And it just cracked at the end. I don't think that they have enough as far as from a rotation standpoint to withstand a running attack once the running attack gets going. I think that they can be broken because there's no rest. Like, they don't have enough guys to swap in and out. But yeah, I mean, it's just a bad loss all the way around. It's a bad loss. And I really hope for this team's sake that they can get back to what they okay. I am gonna bring Purdy's. I am gonna bring his interview on too, but yeah, it's just rough, man. It's rough. I really wish that Kyle would have said something about the play calling and about, hey, we have to go and we got to figure some things out. I don't want to put it all on my guys. We can't turn the ball over, obviously, but I need to be better at putting them in a better position to win. And we've got to figure this thing out because now we have 3 losses, 2 of them in the division. And I would have loved to see, but that's not Kyle. He's not going to do that. So it's disappointing. I'm sure that Purdy is going to take I'm about to show you Purdy's interview, and I'm sure Purdy is going to take all of the blame on himself. I would be shocked if he didn't. Who else is in that? It's Fred Warner. Honestly, I just want to hear Purdy's, and then we're going to get out of here. But all right, let me let you hear Purdy.
And you guys got a quick turnaround this week with Seattle Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, obviously watch the film. Got to get better. Need to get better. Myself, offensively, and then just playing as a team. And so we got to do it quick. We got a Thursday night game. Great team, the Seahawks, on the road. So big challenge ahead. If we sit and dwell, then I think, obviously things won't go our way, so we have to turn the page quick and, like I said, learn from it, but go. So.
What's your assessment of the offense as a whole?
Man, I think, we just need to play better, and that starts with myself. Get down in the red zone. We got to execute and score touchdowns. I thought there was multiple times where we could have pulled away significantly in the first half. Again, that starts with myself. And so there's that. And then, second half when defense is getting stops, we can't just turn the ball right back over. That's pretty plain as day. And we just got to be better in that area and just, back up the defense when the defense is doing their thing. We have to be able to go down the field and execute and put points up on the board, not give the other team life. So we need to play better.
Their defensive plan, was it similar to what you guys have seen the last few weeks?
I would say, they were doing some stuff that was a little different, but they also did things that we expected. So, but regardless, we're going to run our offense and go about how we play football, and so we need to play better. So.
You mentioned the red zone. That's come up a few times this year. What can you put your finger on of why that's been a struggle to finish drives down there?
Everything's pretty tight. It's close, and we just got to be aggressive. And obviously, it starts with me. I'm the guy with the ball, so being aggressive to certain guys and matchups and giving guys chances. And so I just got to be hard on myself with that. Obviously, you want to be smart and protect the ball, but when we got a matchup and a good look, we got to rip it. And so I just got to be better and more aggressive down there. And then just collectively as a unit, offensive unit, once we get down there, like all of us.
Okay, I want to pause that real quick because when Purdy says that he's just got to rip it and it's getting close, that reeks of Kyle telling him that he just needs to make his best throw in those situations and throw his guy open. That reeks of that. And there was a couple of times down there where Purdy absolutely could have made it, thrown a better ball. And I'm sure that that's what Kyle was alluding to in his press conference. The turnovers were the turnovers, but not only that, Purdy missed a couple of throws, and we get all that. My question for the offense is, why is the running game non-existent in the red zone? Why is it not even a factor? Why are we not thinking about play actions in the red zone? Why do when we do call up a run play, we can't get 2 yards? Why is that? We have all these razzle dazzle plays to get guys open, and then we do another razzle dazzle play to Debo that if it works, great, but if it doesn't work, it just destroys the continuity, destroys the momentum, and then we end up in a second and long, and we go against the run. We're just not consistent with the run game. It's I don't know. But I'm gonna let him keep going. But it was, to me, it's more than him just missing throws. When I'm gonna say this real quick before I get back to it, is there is a big now Purdy only threw the ball. Where is it? Oh, shoot, I lost it. Purdy only threw the ball 35 times, which is still more than he usually throws the ball. If the more chances you give a guy to throw the ball, you'll notice only the super elite guys can throw the ball more than 30, 40 times without a team becoming one-dimensional, and it ends up being a bad game because there's going to be turnovers, there's going to be this, that, and it's very in the league, period. I think there was a certain point where everybody assumed that is just the way the league is now, and they were just expecting all of these quarterbacks to be able to, because of thank you, Mr. Brady, for
for making that the rule. Like, and now all of a sudden every team is looking for a guy that can throw the ball 40, 50 times a game. But it also makes those quarterbacks the guys that end up having to do that, it makes them highly turnover prone. Whether it be fumbles, whether it be interceptions, it puts all those turnovers on them. So the more opportunities that you have to throw the ball and make plays, the more opportunities you have to make turnovers. The more opportunities that you have to make the pass play is not the easiest play in the book. Like that's why when people play, when teams are playing keep away, they run the ball. Like pass plays are the most high risk. So the more you pass, the more you're just playing with fire. And I don't know that in this offense, if this offense and this scheme is meant to be throwing the ball 35 plus times a game. I still don't think the drop back game is good, like the play calls and the way that the plays are scripted. Like I just don't think that this offense is built for that. So, but I'm gonna let Brock keep going.
Our mindset, man, has to be we got to punch this in. Obviously, we know we can settle for a field goal, but we got to hold ourselves to a higher standard and cross the goal line. So,
what was there today for Brandon that wasn't there maybe in the past or the first 4 games?
I mean, he was just doing his thing. He wasn't trying to do anything too out of the ordinary. We just had some good plays and matchups dialed up for him, and I thought he did a great job, man, of getting in and out of cuts and obviously catching the ball, making plays. It went his way today. So he's been doing that, I think, all season long. It's tough when the ball doesn't go your way and defenses do some things differently, but he had some really good matchups today, and we took advantage of it.
Such a big part of what you guys would do in the red zone the past couple of years. How much of your early struggles in that area of the field a product of trying to find a new identity without him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can do so much with Christian out of the backfield, line him up as a receiver and stuff like that, and defenses have to account and have a plan for that. So, I mean, it is a little different. But regardless, man, I think we have, the players and the talent to still make it happen. And we got obviously we got George with his size, Debo, BA with their hands, JJ. So we just got to put it together and get some rhythm within it down there.
Was having a pretty good game up until the fumble, obviously. So what's his mindset now, Brock? Did you get a chance to talk to him after the fumble? Because he's going to have to bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, we all got his back, man. And obviously he's been running, really, really hard. He's been doing such a great job. And so that's how football goes, man. It could take one play and then it makes you feel like, dang it, I could have done this in the game or that in the game. But, man, he played really hard. He ran hard. Gave us really great field position throughout the game and had some really key runs. And so, I mean, just like a couple weeks ago with, Ronnie Bell, it's like, man, it takes 11, man. It takes all of us, and so we all got his back. And we're going to pick up quick, and we got to be ready for Seattle.
This team hasn't had many losses. What's the emotion about that? I mean, is there frustration? You can't even think that way because you got this game coming up. Just what's the mood in that locker room right now?
Yeah, I mean, the standard here, man, is excellence, and what we've proven in the last couple of years of the standard of what we can play at, like that's, what we're trying to get to. But man, every year is different with just the team, the chemistry, and getting guys together. You got new keys, some guys leave, and so I think all throughout this, it's early in the season, and we're still trying to find our true identity as a team, and we're getting there. And it's a couple plays away and a couple drives away from gelling and gluing together. But I'm confident that we'll find it. We just got to get into a rhythm and play complementary team football. Got a Thursday night game coming up, so we'll have another chance at it.
You mentioned the turnovers. I think both your interceptions were either deflected or I don't know if the last one was deflected, but it certainly was hitting you. What can you do better than that? I mean, those look like tough to avoid. I
mean, obviously I just got to know if I do have a pressure and what my answer can be within that. I was locked on BA and trying to hit him at the end. So I think I can be better in that area. And then the first one, try to get the ball to George quicker instead of double patting it. And so there's little things like that, man. It's a game of inches for a region. There's not a lot of margin for error. And I have to watch the film and learn from it. Thanks.
All right. So very alarming, honestly, very alarming comment that he made about we're still trying to find our identity. Talking about how we have all these new players and and that comes with the injuries as well. But talking about how you have new players every season and they've got to get acclimated into the system. You got to build chemistry, and he still talks about still not having an identity, and it's early in the season. It's no longer early in the season. We're 5 games in. You're supposed to find your identity. I mean, you should know what your identity is before the season starts, to be honest. But your identity should be the first couple of games at the most. At the most, we should not be talking about identity in week 6. Now we're about to be in week 6, and we still haven't seen what the 49ers identity is. That's alarming. And I think it speaks to what I was saying about the play calling, and the fact that the 49ers don't have they're no longer a physical team. They are a finesse team. And that they are dependent on the scheme. It doesn't matter how many good players they have, because the scheme is, and that's why it was so silly for people to sit there and blame Brandon Ayuk for not getting for not playing more, not getting the stats because he got his $30 million. It doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter who's getting paid on this team, because all that matters in Kyle's mind is the scheme. He's gonna have Brock run those plays. Brock isn't motioning Ayuk to get a better. It's not like Ayuk is getting 10 to 11 targets or 12 targets like some of the other best receivers in the league. He's not usually going to get that amount of targets. He's trying to get his numbers off of maybe 4 or 5 targets, and he's open. But the progression isn't going to go his way because of the read. Because Kyle's calling the play, and it's because of the scheme. So we don't have an identity. That's what we just took away from this game and from these press conferences, is that the 49ers don't have an identity on offense or defense. To be honest, they don't have any kind of identity on defense. Our safeties are being taken advantage of every single week. Not that we don't have a cover guy, a cover safety. Like when we had Jimmy Ward, they could move him down, and he was one of the best man safeties in the league. We don't have that anymore. And he wasn't that his last season, but this defense lost something when they lost the speed that Jimmy Ward brought. Once Jimmy started getting the injuries, and when they lost the physical nature, the leadership of Jimmy Ward, and they lost. There's been a bunch of guys that have gone by the wayside, and people are going to sit there and look at Eric Armstead and look at some of the other guys that they've lost. That's the reality, is that that they've lost some leadership in this locker room. They just don't have an identity. I think that we're trying to run the same plays with different players, and these players, and it's going to come up to the coaching staff to figure out what is better for the players that they have in house, and because they haven't figured it out yet. You saw miscommunications in the coverage again. You saw it again today in a broken coverage, and I think you saw it a couple of times, but we're still looking for it. But it is what it is. 49ers, like I said, 49ers lose 24-23. I'm going to go get some food and feel better about myself. Feel better about this team, and try to watch some other football, and try to get in a better better frame of mind. Tomorrow I'll probably watch the all 20. I think the all 22 comes out probably tomorrow night. So I'll watch that and get ready for we have our show with Beto and Brandon. Beto Niner Sickness, and on Tuesday 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Make sure you watch that. Then I'll have my show again on Thursday for getting you ready. I'll be doing the instant reaction show that day after the game is over. So yeah. Now we got to look forward to this team has got to look forward to the Seattle team. This was a must win. Now it's a 4-alarm fire, 5-alarm fire, whatever you want to call it. Like it all hands on deck. They cannot lose this game. If they lose this game, it's going to be tough sledding for the rest of the season. I didn't even talk about the injuries that happened. Apparently, Jair Brown got injured. Apparently, Fonga left early in the game. The Jawan Jennings had some kind of hand issue that happened in the beginning of the game. He was in and out of the lineup, and then you had somebody else got hurt too. And then of course Moody. What happened with Moody? So now we have a kicker issue as well. Is what it is. We got to turn it around. We got to get ready for this Seattle team in Seattle. Oh man, but Niner faithful, appreciate y'all coming through. Looks like a lot of you guys were watching today. I really appreciate you guys coming out. I know people are probably looking for answers. I for sure the answers that I have, Kyle isn't gonna shoot. He's not even thinking about the answers I've got. We've got to hope that Kyle and this coaching staff can figure out the answers for this team, because this team is not teams of the past. Jimmy Ward's not here. Like D'Amico Ryans ain't here. What's it called? Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner, all those guys that used to be here are no longer here. The Amenahu, even the role players like Amenahu and even Cleveland Farrell, even guys like him, we're not getting the same production that we've been getting in the past. And I really feel like the 49ers have gotten away from bringing in guys that fit their system. They've been fitting guys. They've just been bringing in guys. But like I said, appreciate you guys coming out. I will see you guys Tuesday with where me and Beto and Brandon will get busy. And I hope you guys have a good week. Hug your loved ones. Try to enjoy your week. Get ready. It's a quick turnaround for Thursday's game against Seattle. I hope you guys have a great week. And I'm gonna get out of here, but y'all have a good night. And as always, it don't stop. Go Niners.